Story time.
Hey everyone, this is Black9657. In today's topic story, I'm going to be talking about being a nice guy. Now, this one's going to be just a little different, and by that I mean I will share my personal experience of being a nice guy. However, towards the end, I do want to talk about my thoughts about it, and more so of like the difference between a nice guy and what we have been calling recently a simp, or basically just a guy who is, supposedly trying to be nice or whatsoever, but is he really though? And I know there's lots of videos probably about this stuff, and you hear guys talking about, oh, don't do this or oh, don't do that, or how they were a nice guy and then they stopped being a nice guy and everything else. I will say at least half of those videos are actually good. They actually do give good advice about, I guess, quote, stop being a nice guy. And whenever that happens, I kind of feel like it's like, no, you don't exactly want to stop being a nice guy. It's more like, well, like I said, just like today's world, apparently being a nice guy is, well, as I said already, it's like, being a simp. Basically, you're like worshiping the woman or praising her, or pretty much like if she's at fault, you'd be like, oh, it's okay, or oh, this, not, it's like that, and it's like you're trying to please her, or to be honest, you could be just trying to please anyone, man or woman, and they just walk all over you. It's over. So that's what they mean about, stop being a nice guy, quote on that as well. But again, it's like a little more than to that, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. I might have twisted the words a little bit. But anyways, yeah. So I'm going to say that towards the end after I talk about what I consider as a nice guy, or at least how I am. So as far as I can remember, back in like grade school when I was a kid and everything, well, we were kids, so obviously everybody's, either on the best behavior or they might act up a bit, being a little selfish or say mine or share this and that, And I know that all depends on how you're raised in the, home and the family, and kind of depends on the situation. Depends if you have, both parents or one parent, mother, father, blah, blah, siblings, all that stuff. So it all varies. It really does. But towards the end of the day, we all try to be, nice people, So we learn as kids, and usually things are kind of like black and white, saying like, oh, this is good, this is bad, or don't do this, don't do that, right from wrong, basically. And for me, I was always, raised to be like that, like know from what is right and what is wrong, and of course, just try and be nice all the time, So back then it was like share your toys, or hey, let's play games together, or say please, say thank you, like that stuff, The common things that we all know what to do and like what not to do and all that stuff, as we learn as a kid. Now, as we get older, this is usually for like, well, obviously this is for like, a man's point of view, So when you get older, and like, I want to say maybe junior high or so forth, pretty much like around that age, because when you're being a nice guy or being nice, you then want to use that to, or towards, girls, because obviously when you get older, you start to have attraction, to them. And at first, when you're kids, you're like, ew, girls, gross, And yeah, I was like that too. I'm pretty sure everyone was like that, when we were kids. But of course, as you get older, that tends to change to where you're like, ew, girls, to where you're like, oh, girls, But anyways, but now again, this all kind of depends on, how you're raised and everything, But usually, you want to be, or you would try to be nice to like, the girls. So this is where I guess like, chivalry comes in. Now, usually what that means is, you like here, I'll give you a simple example of what is like, I guess like, being chivalrous is. So for example, you just open the door for someone, or like let's say if you're taking a girl out on a date, so then you open the car door for her, or you pull out her chair, or kind of that stuff, Those are just like short, simple like examples of it. That's it. Point blank and simple. Basically, just being nice, But yeah, back then that a lot of guys would do that, and including me. I was like one of them. Excuse me. And again, this was like around like junior high school and even high school too. I was always trying to be the nice guy and so forth. So I guess around girls, like I'll just be myself, kinda. I say kinda though, because I'll be honest. I actually was a shy guy too, and I think I briefly mentioned this in probably like one of my other videos before. But yeah, but basically, I was nice, but I was also shy as well. So I'll say hi, how you doing? Say say thank you, you're welcome. I would make like nice gestures, all that stuff, right? Do favors, or see if like anyone is has like a problem. Like if I see someone like in a bad mood or a sad mood, I'd be like, you okay, what's wrong, that stuff. And of course I would always do this around girls all the time. I mean boys too, but like boys it's like, oh hey man, what's up, like that stuff. But girls, I was always trying to be on my best behavior, and tried to be chivalrous and all that stuff. But anyways, but I know that, like, yeah, I was, the nice guy and considered as a good guy. And as far as I know, back in school, everybody knew who I was because I was in the same area, the same town since kindergarten. I literally grew up in the town, all the way up to high school. So like everybody knew me, everybody knew who I was, but it wasn't like I was popular or anything. It's like, oh yeah, that guy. Like, oh yeah, he's cool. Oh yeah, he's nice. Like that was it. But yeah, so I kind of lose my train of thought right now. Oh yes, right. So yeah, so basically I was just the nice guy, and like I guess like even though I was being a nice guy, even though I was being myself, I was being the good guy and everything, I never liked it when like those other guys or the other boys would not be so nice or be like kind of jerks and everything. Now granted, people have their own issues, especially as kids, because either there's something going on in the household, or parents aren't doing their job or what they're supposed to be doing, or also because bad influence outside the household too, which can happen, and everything else. But yeah, like it was just, I guess, kind of annoying to me because obviously I didn't like that stuff. Now, what's funny about that though is, and till this day too, I'm pretty sure this is still happening because I'll be hearing some stuff. But back then and even now, they always say like, oh, the girls and women like the bad boys, because they act or they seem strong, or just I don't know, and I never got that. I really didn't, and again, because this is how I was raised and everything. So I was raised to be like the nice guy and the good guy, but I never understood the whole bad boy situation. I never did, and I mean now I do because I'm an adult now, and they say like women like the chaos, or like ooh, look at him, or he looks so tough, and what do you call it? Kind of like not a leader. I don't want to say a leader, but it's like, oh god, I don't want to say this though, but this is probably the best way I can explain it. Like usually the bad boy type seem more like the alpha type. I mean, if you know, it's kind of hard to explain at this moment right now, I guess, because I'm not trying to like go into like deep details exactly, but it's like that. But anyways, but yeah, so obviously the girls were attracted to that, but whenever it came to like problems or issues that they had, or basically it's like when they wanted to seek comfort, or like a safe place, they would then go to the nice guy, because the nice guy is there, he's like always there for you, always wants to make sure that you are safe around him, and that you should be comfortable around him and all that stuff, and that was me. So thinking back then, I didn't really care much whatever, because I did had friends who were girls, and granted I did that they were cute and pretty and this and that so forth, but I never took the step to actually ask them out or whatever else that may be. So I was always actually okay with just being friends with them, or just being there for them, excuse me. But I did notice, or not notice then, but now I do, is that some of them did, I guess, kind of used me as someone that they can go to for any kind of problems or situations that they had, or if they needed some advice or whatever. I was basically the counselor, you could say, in a way. So I guess basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, I guess I could say that was like a bad thing. Here's the thing too. I don't think I want to say it was a bad thing, but for sure it wasn't really a benefit towards me if I wanted to, pursue those girls. Exactly. Because I will admit that, yeah, and here I have no regrets about being a nice guy or who I was or even who I am today. I have no regrets at all. Because I chose the right path, at least in my eyes and everything. But I will say that oh yeah, it's that one scene where the nice guys finish last. So it's like the things I wanted, a girl and this and that, so forth, or to be honest, or to even get with them too, because back in high school, that was a thing. I'm pretty sure it is, it still is now today. But yeah, I remember back in high school, that was the thing, saying like, oh, did you lose your V card and all that stuff, But anyways, but me being like that, it wasn't really getting me anywhere. I will admit that, So I wasn't getting with any girls. I wasn't, having like girlfriends or like all this stuff because I was being the nice guy. Because usually those who weren't, well, those who were, I guess you could say, either one, they were just confident enough, so like they were still a good guy. So they were a good guy, but they weren't like being too nice and exactly. Basically, they weren't sucking up. There you go. They weren't sucking up exactly. But they were bigger themselves. Then they had confidence. So obviously, the girls like that. Or, like I said, you had the other ones, the bad boys, who were just like all up there, and they'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool," So that was like kind of me, like during the school years, to where, be a nice guy, and I guess you could say, oh, that's right, that's what it is. I was like friend zoned. There you go. So yeah, so that's like one, I guess, depending on who you are, I guess that's like a bad thing, or that's like a bad situation to where like, oh, if you're a nice guy, you be friend zoned, which is true. I will admit that. I will fully admit that and accept that yeah, I got friend zoned a lot. But like I said too, I don't regret it, and like my intention really wasn't to get with as many girls as possible anyways, because like, again, of how I was raised, it's like if I wanted to be with a girl, it was because I wanted to pursue someone to be like my future wife. Yes, even back in high school too, Now, granted, I wasn't, for sure if it was going to happen or not, or like, there was no guarantee that was going to happen, obviously, but that was the whole point, or at least that's how I was kind of like taught and raised, that saying, well, you're dating to, find your future spouse, So like, that's the reason why. So it's like I was kind of like carefully choosing who I was going to be with too, at the same time. And this was more relatable, or like this was more of it when I was in college, or basically as soon after I had my first girlfriend, actually. So now we're kind of fast forwarding it, you can say. And yeah, I'm still being a nice guy, I'm still being myself, but around this time, I guess you could say I was not really sucking up to girls much, or kind of being shy. Now I felt more confident in a way. Yeah, so I had a little shyness, but it was like more like, it was like, oh, I'm a little, it was more like nerves, like I was a bit more nervous instead of more like shy. So like I'll see a girl and this and that, and yeah, I'll be like, oh, well, what she says this, or what she says that, but it didn't really stop me to at least say hi. Because here's a tip, okay? Women are just a person, Girls are just people. Everybody is just, a person, So it's like, in order to get over that, you can just, instead of like being nervous and shy, and say, oh, she's a girl, she's pretty and everything, just treat them like a normal human being, That's the thing. That's the key. It really is. And I did hear that back in school, even college, and so forth. But again, the nerves got to me. But eventually, over time, I realized, no, that's really the case, You just talk to them just like any other person, honestly. And yeah, it might be hard to just think that way or feel that way, because you might find attraction to her or that person, and so forth. But trust me, it will get you there on the spot, like right away. And then if you just see them as just like every person, then yeah, it should go smoothly. Keyword should. Anyways, so yeah, while I was in my relationships, or like in my college years, you can say, yeah, I was still being the nice guy, but again, I wasn't like sucking up much or whatever and so forth. But while being a nice guy, I was still being nice, I was still being kind, showing compassion, showing that I cared, like, you know, all that stuff, you know. But what was different around the time is that, like, if I saw some problems or if I saw some issues, if I saw some BS, you know, happening, I will call them out. So before, I didn't really do that, you know. I mean, yeah, I did kind of like briefly said, oh, well, maybe you shouldn't, or oh, well, I don't know, you know. Basically, I was like that because again, I don't want to, you know, hurt anyone's feelings. I just wanted to, you know, like, I guess suck up to them in a way, you know, and be like, oh, this and that. But no, like, as I was getting older, I knew, you know, what I had to say. I knew, you know, that this was wrong and so forth. So in other words, if someone came to me and they had a problem or they had like a situation and they wanted advice, if I knew it was wrong, I would say, yeah, no, that's not good, you know, or no, you shouldn't be doing that, and then I would tell them why. I wouldn't just tell them, no, you shouldn't be doing that, and not give them a reason why, you know. Now, I will do my absolute best to understand their situation. Now, I can't, like, obviously, you know, relate to some things depending on what it is, you know, they're saying, but even so, I was always that person to try my best to understand them, you know. Even if I disagree with them, I will still try to put myself in their shoes, or see why would they think this way, or why would they do, you know, this and that, you know. And that did help me a lot to actually talk to them and tell them reasons why, you know, this is good or this is bad. And I will still consider that as me being the nice guy, you know, like the person who was, you know, always kind and caring and so forth, but also called out the stupidness because I cared, you know. I did care for their well-being. I did care for, you know, what they might do that could affect their future, and I just wanted the best for them. And this is man and woman, like you know, this is everyone, not just, you know, women. Even though I did have more female friends, you know, and everything, and I did talk to girls more and like more women too, you know. But even so, like, that's who I am. I was gonna say I was, but no, but no, I still consider myself as that person still, you know, to this day. And for me, that's what kind of being a nice guy is, you know, is just doing all that stuff. That, and also, like, I know that in relationships too, like here, usually if you're in a relationship, you would, you know, treat them more with, you know, more kindness, more respect, more caring, and all that stuff, right? Because obviously, you know, when you're with someone, you see them as more special, you know. And I would say that was the case with me too when I had my, you know, exes and everything. But even so, I still treated everyone else the same way, you know, friends, family, you know, whoever. Of course, you know, there were some bit biases and you know, favoritism because, you know, family and this and that, no duh. But even so, I still treat everyone the same respect that I want to be treated myself. And that's the saying that everyone always says too, you know, is that treat others how you want to be treated, you know. And that is good, because if you do that, it does pay off, you know. By that I mean, like, you know, let's say if someone, like, I guess here, you know what, I'll give you a example, or like something that happened to me. So like, I used to work with someone who did have a bit of an attitude, you know, not really towards me, you know, like it was nothing personal. It was kind of like how they were, and I was like, okay, I guess. But even so, I could have given them the same attitude back. I could have, you know, been you know, smart with them or whatever else, but I didn't. Instead, I, you know, showed them, like, respect. Instead, I said, oh, you know, here's this, here's that. You know, I showed them kindness still. And over time, and in a short time too, actually, you know, it wasn't like over a month or whatever, but in a short time, they actually started to treat me with more respect. They actually started to treat me nicely and everything. And soon enough, they actually started to open up to me quickly too. Like, they were telling me like their secrets. They were telling me why they, you know, were like that. You know, they started telling me like all this stuff or whatever. And for me personally, I think that's also what being a nice guy is too. You know, is that you just, yeah, again, you are being nice, but it's just like, you know, you just, you know, again, for me personally, it's like I'm being myself. You know, this is who I am. You know, like, I'm just being myself. I'm showing kindness. I'm being respectful, you know, and I'm basically trying to make sure that the person who I'm talking to, who I'm with, whatever, letting them know that, hey, you're okay here. I'm not gonna judge you, you know, and I'm not gonna, put you down and so forth. Now, granted, if you told me something that's messed up, then that's different. But like I said earlier too, even so, if you're coming with me trying to actually get some actual genuine like advice, or you want someone to actually come to you and tell you what's up, then yeah, I will do that, with all due respect and and everything. And when I do that, hopefully, the person can receive that and be like, well, I don't expect them to actually accept it. I don't expect them to actually take my advice fully, and so forth, because trust me, that has happened a few times to where I'll tell someone, hey, you should be doing this. They're like, okay, and they do the opposite. I've had that happen before. Well, basically, it's like, I just want them to kind of get something out of it, because here's what I also kind of believe too about, I guess being a quote nice guy, is that like you can tell someone about something that is good, right? And that person may not, agree, or they'll be like, oh, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about and everything, However, whatever you tell them, that could be like a seed planted in their head, or just a little something that they can probably think in the back of their mind. Because I do believe that, that saying something is better than kind of like not saying anything, And again, this kind of all depends on, it all depends on the situation, It really does. But because I've had situations where it was kind of like that too, to where I'll be talking to someone and I'll tell them like, the good things or my suggestions, And I'd be like, well, maybe you could do this instead, or hey, you ever thought about doing this? Or hey, how would you feel if this happened to you? It's like that. And of course, they kind of like brush it off and say, well, I don't know, I don't care, about that. But then all of a sudden later on, they would either mention it again and say, hey, remember that one time you said this, or hey, I was thinking about that, And again, and I'm pretty sure that's everyone too, because whoever you talk to, and it could be, and here, it doesn't have to be about good things. It could be a bad thing too, and that's worse, Like, someone can say, oh, you're ugly, you're stupid, or they'll say something to kind of put you down, or something that you don't like. And at first you'd be like, whatever, this and that, right? Depending on who you are. However, let's admit this, that it will probably be in the back of your head, and you might question it, and you'd be like, oh man, I don't know, or am I like this, or am I ugly, am I stupid? And I do feel sorry for people who feel that way, and yeah, I've been there too, and it sucks, it really does. Like, for me personally, yeah, and this is a video, talk about being a nice guy, and it still is, obviously, because everything I'm saying relates to, being a nice guy, or at least, something that's like around it, but it's like, I consider myself as a nice guy, or to be honest, here, you know what, maybe I should stop saying nice guy and start saying a good guy, Because again, I will dive more deeper into this, like, a little bit later on though. But anyways, but yeah, so I always consider myself as like a good guy, So someone told me I was being bad, or not, a nice guy, or not a good guy, that will actually hit me hard. It really would, because me, I don't see myself as that at all. Period. Granted, I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. Okay, I'll make that very clear now. I am not perfect. No one is perfect in this world. However, depending on who you are, you still might want to see yourself as someone with, like, who has like high standards, or who sees himself, as this person. So if someone says something about you that's the opposite, that might mess you up. And there actually was one time to where that actually did happen, and it wasn't like, in front of that person or so forth, or like no one literally came to me and said I'm a bad guy, But I've made mistakes, and I remember making a mistake, and someone, confronted me about that and everything, and it hit me hard. It really did. Not at the moment exactly, or in front of that, but later on, I thought about it, and for me, I was like, oh man, like it literally broke me down, and for me, I felt so, like guilt and everything and so forth, But obviously, I got over with it, and lesson learned, and all that stuff, right? But yeah, so that's how much of being a good guy is to me. But anyways, yeah, so that's how I was, like, back in like college years, and even like outside of college, and like how I treated like everyone else. And I think here, I'll start to, I guess, also give like more examples or situations too. It's like this. There was actually this one time. I remember this. This happened at one of the conventions that I went to. Like back in let's see. I think this happened in I want to say 2016. I want to say that, or 2015. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, around the time, right? And I remember, and this is gonna be a little embarrassing if he hears this or anything, but it's based to my cousin, and I remember he had a girlfriend, and they broke up and everything, right? So, and this was actually kind of a little awkward too. So basically, what happened was that we were at the convention, like him, his friends, and me were hanging out and everything, right? Next thing you know, his ex comes to the convention, and we're like, why is she here? Now granted, her beef or her issue was only with my cousin, because they were together and they broke up. However, according to him and his friends, she was still friends with his friends. So, cause like, it's like that thing to where like, oh, that, a couple breaks up, but they're still cool with like, everyone else, it was like that. So she was still cool with his friends because his friends were her friends too, you can say. And she was also cool with me as well, like her cousin or like her other family members too, because everyone liked her. We thought she was nice and blah, 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 all that stuff. So, at the convention, man, he was upset. My cousin was upset. Like he was upset, and he felt awkward, and he was trying to avoid her too. And yeah, I was with him and everything. However, like I did my own thing at the convention too. And I remember his ex was there just kind of like being by herself, because apparently according to her she was also into the stuff too. That's why she came to the convention. But to this day, I think that's half the truth. And the other half of the trip is that she wanted to see him. If I'm being honest, honestly, I don't know. But there's that, and then I kind of overheard that my cousin's friends said that they probably also invited her too, and that they want to see her. I don't know. Anyways, it was a situation. I mean, it was. But anyways, I remember me and her were hanging out for a bit, maybe like an hour or two or something like that, because that was our first time going to convention, so I wanted to show her around, as I was going to conventions for years, way longer than my cousins or their friends. So I was showing her around, showing her this, showing that, and we were talking this and that, right? And she decided to, I guess, vent to me about her relationship with my cousin. And she was telling me how they were and these were good, and then of course she started telling me about the problems, which I was not surprised at all, because I knew my cousin as like again, it's gonna be kind of awkward or embarrassing for her to say this, but basically, he was like a player in a way. He talked to girls and this and that, right? As far as I know, as far as I knew, he was mostly faithful, like good to whoever he was with. Again, mostly, and that's something like either that's another story to tell, or that's like not for me to say anything. Anyways, so yeah, so basically she was telling me the issues, and for me I was like, oh, shocker, I'm not surprised that he didn't do this or he did that or this and that, and dude, hey, love you, cousin, okay, I love you very much. Here, that was in the past, all right, I'm just saying. Anyways, so yeah, but she was telling me all this stuff, right? And then there was one moment too, and I thought it was weird, but basically there was this one moment to where I think if I recall, I forgot. We both were about to leave to get food or somewhere else. I forgot, but I think it was food. Yeah. But anyway, so I was walking to the car, and so was she. You'd be behind me. So then I opened up the door for her, because I wanted to be nice, and again, that was just me, like just like doing that and everything, and she just stands there and gives me this like weird look, like as if she saw like a ghost or something, or something like in the car or something like that. And for me, I was like, what? So then I like looked in the car to make sure there was like no one in there in the first place, or kind of looked around because I was trying to figure out, why was she making that face, And then I asked her like, what's wrong? Like what's the problem? And then she just stands there and looks at me and says, no one has ever done that for me. I was like, what? I was like, wait. You mean just opening the door for you? And she was like, yeah, and I kid you not, true story. No, seriously. She literally just stood there in shock just because I opened the door for her. And I was like, wait, what? I didn't get it. Even to this day, I still don't understand that. I really don't. And again, this was later in years to where, people say chivalry is dead, all this stuff, which I guess to an extent. But yeah, that's what it was. And yeah, she was just in shock. She told me that no guy has ever opened a door for her. And she even told me too that during time me and her were, talking and this and that I was being very nice to her. I was being respectful, and all this stuff. And she told me that she greatly appreciated that. And basically, she was telling me how I guess my cousin wasn't really doing that much. According to her, I don't know. According to her, but also again too, I'm partially not surprised because that's kind of how he was. Keyword was, okay. Anyways, but basically, I was just sharing that part or whatever because again, this kind of relates to about being a nice guy and being a good guy. Is that I'm over here, showing respect, kindness. I'm opening a door for them to get in the car and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, this girl right here is like completely shocked that I did that for her, And I'm like, dang. I don't know. Like to this day, I'm just like, wow, really? Now, granted, I'm not saying I do that all the time, for like anyone, even back then, even now, I'll admit, I don't really do it for my wife. I will admit that, But it's just like, when I decide to do that, or I just feel like doing it, and just for that to happen, it's just like, jeez, man, really? Just doing a simple, gesture like that, and that brings shock? And like, what the crap? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. But anyways, fast forward a little bit and everything, and yeah, so I'm still being myself. I'm still being the good guy, and to be honest, being who I am, of being the good guy, being nice and all that stuff, right? Is also how I got my wife in the first place. And again, just like my cousin's friend who was, shots or not used to having I guess you could say a nice guy around or having a good guy around, the same thing was with my wife when we first met and everything else. And yeah, boy. Again, I think here I might have said this in another video too. I'm pretty sure I have, but again, when we first met, we went on like a blind date. Like yeah, I saw pictures of her, and everything. And for me, I was like, dang, she's hot, or dang, she got big, breasts and all. Anyways, but yeah, when we first met, it was kind of like a blind date, But we saw pictures of each other, but we didn't talk to each other. We had never said anything to each other. We haven't met in person, on the phone, nothing, But we met together, and it was at a hotel. And she was all dressed up. She was looking hot as fuck. She was sexy, gorgeous. I mean, she still is today, obviously. Years later. But whew, man, my wife was something else. But anyways, let me stop it before I go on like huge like tangent on that or something. Anyways, but yeah, but here's the thing too. Again, this sounds funny because it's like, wait a minute, so. You guys met, first time together, never spoke to each other or anything and so forth, except exchange like, I guess like numbers or say like, hey, I'll meet you here, You guys met at a hotel? Excuse me? And even to myself, I'm just like, why did I think that? Anyways, but yeah, no, we first met at a hotel, and yes, we did spend a night at the hotel too. So it's like, wait, what? However, I will say that even though the scenario paints a picture as in like, oh yeah, they're at a hotel, she's all dressed up in here and so forth, I'm pretty sure they were doing something, they had to do something and everything. But no, we didn't. I promise you, and God as a witness, we didn't do anything, Even though we probably could have, but no. The reason why we didn't is because, again, I consider myself as a nice guy, or, a good guy, and I wasn't the type of person to ever like believe in like the first like what do you call it? Excuse me, lost my voice for a second. Anyways, but I wasn't like the type of person to do it on the first night, or the second, or the third, or whenever. Honestly, like what if I had to wait for like a month before getting some, or months, or years, or whatever the case might be? So be it. That's who I was, honestly. So my motto was always like, if I went out with someone and we went on dates and so forth, and that was it. Nothing happened between us. Maybe like a kiss and hug. That's it. I mean, I do expect that at least. but when it comes to actually doing doing it, the whole sex thing and everything, no, I actually never expected that, because my thing was that I just wanted to show them a good time, I want to show them a good time. I want them to know this is who I am. Hey, I'm showing you respect and kindness, but again, I'm not doing this to just grab you or just take you in possession or something, or try to get with you. No, I was doing this because this is who I am, and it's because of that. That's how I guess you could say I got my wife. Now I remember the first time that happened, she actually was, and she told me this too. She was surprised I didn't try to do anything, I mean, granted, what, if anything, yeah. I think I try, I try to remember what exactly did I do, and as far as I can remember, I don't think we even do anything, not even like hug or something. But anyways, yeah, so I didn't do anything to her because I wanted to again show her hey, this is not how I roll, or this is not what I do. I'm not like these other guys who are over here trying to get into your pants the first night you meet, or trying to stick my tongue down your throat or something. I'm not trying to do that. No, we're here. This is our first time meeting too. So as far as I know, we're both strangers. Just getting to know each other. So I'm not just gonna do anything with you, because I don't even know if it's out here. If I'm being honest, I didn't even know if she's been around or not. But yes, yeah. But even so, during that time though, she actually was very impressed. She said that my first impressions were very good, and that yeah, she was actually shocked and surprised I didn't try anything. And that I was just being nice to her the whole time. I was treating her good and so forth. And I was like, okay, cool. But of course, later on, she kind of explained her reason why she said that is because she's always been around these bad guys, or these guys who didn't really care for her, or all they wanted was sex from her and this and that, blah blah, all that stuff, and how they only found her attractive because yeah, of course she was beautiful, but she also had big breasts and all that stuff. But anyways, but she told me that I was generally the very first guy that she met to where I was genuinely nice to her, and that I was good to her, and I guess because of that too, that's how she fell in love with me, later on. But of course I can't really say the same thing to her, because she was doing stuff too that I didn't like or appreciate it. The main reason was that she was drinking too much, and kind of out there too much. By out there, I don't mean sleeping around exactly, but she was just kind of partying or hanging out with the wrong crowd and everything, So it's because of that I didn't exactly want to be around her, or to be honest, I didn't exactly want to be her friend exactly. That's how much it was. It was just too much for me to handle. But I stuck around because once I finally met up with her friends, or her so-called friends, I realized that she didn't have any good people around her. There was no one who was a good influence, for her, or tried to, stop her from doing stupid stuff, and by that, mean that they actually cared for her. According to her, she said that, they did care for her, and that they did, want the best for her, and this and that, blah, blah, all that stuff. But no, I saw the BS, I saw through that. And I was like, no, these aren't your real friends. These people aren't good for you. All they want to do is just party, get wasted, and sleep around probably, all that stuff, right? So because of that, yeah, I did feel somewhat pity for her, or felt sorry for her. But right there, I was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna be her friend. I'm gonna be the good one for her. I'm gonna, try my best to do something, because she needs it. And like I said too, I wanted to cut her off. Even after I said that, I wanted to cut her off so much. But there was something that was telling me to stick around, and I don't know what it was. Well, personally for me, I believe that that maybe that was God telling me stick around and everything. But anyways, but yeah, but when that was happening, there was one day when I saw who she really was, or who she really is, more like. When she didn't drink, she didn't do anything. Like if she was sober, and nothing was happening on that day when we hung out. And then that's when I knew she was a generally good person, And that's when she started to open up to me more about what she wanted and this and that, so forth. And for me, I was like, right there, that's it, that's you, that's the real you right there. And as the good guy was, I felt more drawn to her, and I said, okay, I had to stick around now. I had to be around her. I had to show her what a genuinely good man does, for a woman. And I say that with pride and passion, and it kind of makes me a little bit, I guess, emotional too, in a way, because again, that's just like, that's how much I see myself, as that person, as the nice guy and good guy. And again, I'm not trying to get choked up right now, about it, but that's just how much passion I have for it, and I guess somewhat like pride in it too, as well, of who I am, And also, it's because of that too, and the reason why I'm getting kind of emotional about it is because my wife fell in love with me because of who I am, of that, and God bless her and everything, and so since then, yeah, we've been friends, and then we became boyfriend and girlfriend, and within a very short time, by very, I mean a month into our relationship, she gets pregnant. That's a long story, okay, of how that happened and everything, and I still recall exactly when and where I guess my son was conceived. Anyways, but yeah, so friends for like a year and a half, I think, got together for like a month. She got pregnant, and I say no. I engaged to her, I think, like a month afterwards, and then blah blah, got married, and yeah. So basically, we've known each other for, it's 2024 now. So we've known each other for 8 years. Yeah, 8 years, and been together for 6. So yeah, it's a good run, and me and her are doing great. We are. Yeah, we had our moments, and of course, like every like married couple has their moments and issues and so on and so forth, and we've had major bumps on the road too, to where our situation could have been different. It really could have, but I still thank God for what happened between us and the decision that I made, and so forth. And since then, we've been stronger. We've been more loving, and it's awesome. It really is. But anyways, yeah. So I guess like that's my whole story about kind of being a nice guy, or rather being a good guy, and how much I value myself in that of being a good guy. I really do. And yeah, so okay, now here's where I want to talk about the part where I see difference between being a nice guy from what it was before and what it is right now, and my personal thoughts on it. So basically, it's like this. Being a nice guy before, like I said, there was chivalry going on, and you were just being nice, and you do all that stuff right. Just basically just being the good guy. Now, nowadays, well, thanks to the modern society, the modern day woman, like all that stupidness, and so forth. That's why people are now saying chivalry is dead, because these women nowadays just don't care anymore, or it's like they quote do care, but it's like they want to be catered and entitled so freaking much to where they have unrealistic expectations, and men now just see that, and they're calling them out, and they're like, no, we don't want to deal with that. That's why they're now kind of saying don't be a nice guy anymore, because all you're doing is sucking up to them, or all you're doing is worshiping these women, or not keeping them accountable on their actions, and all that stuff, which I get that, I really do. And yeah, and as I said, like kind of towards the beginning of like this video or whatever, when I was in school, like you're in high school, that's kind of how it was, and so forth. But now it's just, now I see through that, and it's just kind of getting worse, in my opinion, from what I've been seeing and hearing and all this stuff, and to this day, man, I've been seeing some stuff and I'm just like, what, I am so freaking glad I'm married. I am so thank God for my wife, because yeah, and here's the thing too, she was also around that crowd too, and yeah, she could have been like every other, I quote, modern day woman out there, but But no, she quickly turned around and what she missed all the BS and she became her truest self and so forth. And again, I'm so grateful for my wife. I really am. Oh gosh, she's awesome. Anyways, but yeah, so point. Oh yeah, point is that just nowadays, yeah, it's just like these men are saying stop being a nice guy. Now, here's what I really think that they actually are trying to say, and this is the parts where I guess don't like is when people say stop being nice, stop being a nice guy, where it's like no, like you still be the nice guy, or like I said too, be the good guy, because what they're really saying is just stop being a simp, and if you heard the word, you know what it is. If you haven't, like I said, being a simp is like, for example, here, I'll give you like a really good example, or like a prime example, I guess you could say, is you have these, oh Jesus, killing to say this, but you have like these OnlyFans models, right? Out here, doing a thing, blah blah blah, right? And then you have these guys who are paying for that. They are paying these girls to, do all this, stuff. And they're just soaking it all up, and they're like, "Oh yes, this and that." And then you have these same models messaging them online and saying, "Oh, thank you so much. You're such a good guy." And they try to, praise them and please them and say, "Oh, you are special to me." I can't. I try to say all that with a straight face. Anyways, it's just so pathetic. It really is. It's so stupid. Oh my god. Anyways, it's just so stupid. God, I hate it. Stupid. Oh my god. Anyways. Okay, so that's what they do, and they just soak it all up, and they think that they make the guy seem like they're special, and that's when the guy gets tricked into being the so-called nice guy. He's like, oh, I'm being nice to her. Oh, this and that. It's like, no, man. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop that! Don't spot their hand out. Like, stop! No. Anyways, oh my god, I'm just like wanting to rant right now. That's almost I hate this stuff. Oh my god, I hate it so friggin' much. And that's what it is, And to me, I think that's what they really mean about stop being the nice guy. It's basically just stop being a simp. Stop, trying to, I guess, back up these women when they're doing wrong, Now, not all women are bad. I want to make that very clear right now, okay? Is that not all women are bad. Not all modern day women are bad, okay? And we only call them modern day women because that's just how they are and how they act, And I will say that the numbers are rising up, and hopefully, this call kind of, stops, basically to get like a reality check on it. But anyways, I will never ever say that all women are like this. I will never say all women are bad. I will never say all women are like all the same. Because what I could look at, my mom. I could look at friends I had, families, all this stuff. I can even look at my wife, and be like, no, these are generally good women. They really are. Granted, yeah, again, no one's perfect. Like I said before, and everything. But compared to these women right here. Shit, exactly. It's like what? That's why I'm so grateful for who I'm with. Like really, like what? If you saw her and like looked at her and knew who she was, whatever, a lot of guys will say, "Hey, I've hit the jackpot," and that I really do have a good relationship and everything, and I believe I do, and like. Speaking of that too, and here's the thing as well, and I'm going back to what I mentioned before about how people said this, how the whole nice guys finish last thing, and honestly, yes, I do believe that that's true, that supposedly nice guys finish last. Here's the thing though, I embrace that. The reason why is because this whole nice guy finish last thing, it's just like, yeah, the nice guy finishes last. Maybe he's not getting all with the girls. Maybe he's not, doing this, doing that, like all this other, whatever, stuff. But the way I see it is that those who do finish last, look at, where they at. Now, granted, I'm not saying all, nice guys, finish last and, live in paradise or something like that. But the way I see it is that, like, and again, I consider myself as a nice guy, and yeah, I could say, yeah, I did finish last. in a way, or like, I didn't, go out there and mess with, all the women, or I didn't try to talk to all women, who I meet, or all this other stuff, But instead, it's just like, hey, well, I took my time, and I've only met a few women, in my life, and I've only been with very few women in my life. I can literally count the number in just one hand, I really can, And for me, I say, due to all that stuff, due to me being who I am, me being the nice, good guy who I am, I say I supposedly finished, last, but look at where I'm at right now, I got a like I keep praising my wife, but that's how much I love her, obviously. But for me, I got a hot smoking wife. She got a nice body, all natural too, and everything. And thanks to having our son, and we have a beautiful son together too. So I have a family, and I will say thanks to my son, he basically made my wife even more hotter, because a woman's body changes after having pregnancy. So now my wife got more thick, white hips and everything. And jeez. Okay, I need to stop. Anyways, man, I can make a whole video just talking about her. Anyways, but the whole finished last part, it's like, yeah, maybe I have finished last to some guys point of view and everything, but hey, I'm proud of it. I'm happy. I really am. I am proud of who I am. I'm happy for who I am. I love myself. I love my wife. I love my son, obviously. And my family and everything I got. And of course, I made mistakes. Of course, I have my flaws. Even to this day too. Again, I'm not perfect. But I do try my best. I know other people try their best too. But we always have room to improve. As well. And for me, yeah, like I said too, as far as I remember, I've always been a nice guy. I've always been the good guy. As far as I can remember, and like from what I've been doing and everything and so forth. And like I said, I don't have like regrets about it. Yeah, of course there might be a few changes that I wish I could done better, or maybe I should have done this. But if I did, then would I have now? I'm not sure. But basically, what I'm saying is that just being who myself, being myself, being who I am, being the nice guy, you can say. I will say it has its perks. I will say, like it looks great from my view at least. And I met other nice good guys out there too, and their lives, again, no one's perfect, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that they have their issues, but generally speaking, their lives have been good too. Now I know that they're here. I will say one thing too, is that nowadays you see these people talking about like divorces or whatever, right? And saying, oh well because I was a nice guy or this and that, now so I'm paying the price. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. But at the same time too, would you really change yourself? That's one. And two, like whatever happened, whatever the case may be, I personally feel like when stuff like that happens, it could have been prevented, or like maybe you two should have talked, or whatever she did or didn't tell you and so forth. It's just like, did you not see that before that happened, or did you not see that before you got together? Because there'd be some situations to where people would be like, well, I don't know, like, well, they'll say like, oh, I didn't see that coming, or all this and that, so forth. And it's like, no, if you would have done something else, or if you would have got to know the person before even getting with them, whatever, then maybe that could have been prevented. And it's thanks to that of me, because for me, I would hang out with someone first before I even ask them out. And if that takes me months, so be it. That was always my motto, honestly. That's why I had only like 3 girlfriends in my whole life, and only been with very few people in my life because of that reason. I hung out with them first, and I got to know them, and I was like, nope. And that helps out, but also because I was a good guy too, and a nice guy too, and depending on what happens, then hey, if they what gave me the same respect, or also what's kind of me too. That kind of gave me some, like, I guess hope, like, okay, maybe, but you know, I don't know. Anyways, though, but all right, but I think I've been talking too much now, or been rambling too much now, and yeah, and here I do apologize if if I was kind of all over the place on this and everything, because like I said too, with these videos, I do try to like, I guess, like, you know, say everything at the moment. I don't want to, like, you know, edit like you know, like, I guess, like what I'm saying, or like start over, or like this and that sort, you know, because I do want to generally talk, like, you know, in the moment. I do want to talk about it through my heart, you know, and so on and so forth. But anyways, though, so yeah, but I do appreciate you guys, you know, taking time to hear us out, and just, you know, being there listening to my rambling apparently. And yeah, and maybe if maybe I could do, like, maybe like a part two of this. By part two, I mean, like, dive more deeper into it. And trust me, it'll be a lot shorter than this, because again, this is just like a rambling video about it. But yeah, but anyways, but thank you for your time, for being here, and for listening or watching or anything else. And I hope that you guys have a blessed day. And if you can, just leave a like or a comment, or share your experience, and we'll see you next time. All right.